an old college classmate of mine. His name wasn't far from mine in the alphabet, which meant that he sat close to me in a couple of classes. I could almost see him, and though I never knew him or exchanged a word with him, he'd been in my mind all this time. And in the minds, I'm almost sure, of the survivors of the 1,097 members of the Harvard class of 1942. I found him again in an old reunion report and filled in the blank. Lucian Victor Alexis, Jr. of New Orleans. In our junior year, he'd been briefly in the news. The Navy lacrosse team refused to allow him to take the field, his team to take the field at Annapolis because of Lucian's presence as a player on the visiting Harvard team. Lucian was black, the only black player on the team, just as he was the only black member of our class. The Harvard lacrosse coach refused to withdraw him, but was overruled on the scene by the Harvard athletic director, William J. Bill Bingham. Alexis was sent back to Cambridge on a train. Harvard played and lost 12-0. There was a subsequent campus protest at Harvard. A petition was signed. I can't remember if I signed it. And soon afterwards, the Harvard Athletic Association announced that Harvard would never again withdraw a player for reasons of race. Harvard's president, James B. Conant, had been in Europe at the time of the incident. But when he came back, he apologized to the commanding admiral at Annapolis for the breach of cordial relations that Harvard had occasioned by bringing Lucian and Alexis along. Alexis, Alexis graduated and went into the service, as most of us did then. When he came back, he was accepted at Harvard Medical School, but then told that he couldn't attend after all because there was no other black student in the entering class, and thus no one he could room with. He went to the Harvard Business School instead. He got his degree, went back to New Orleans, married and had children, and became the head of a small business college there. He died in 1975 at the age of 53. He and I belong to what has sometimes been called the greatest generation. But most of us have felt uncomfortable about this honor, it may be because we've known that in some ways we haven't been all that great. The election of Barack Obama as president could mean that all of us in the United States belong to the greatest generation now. And though this astounding event seems to have happened all of a sudden, for some people my age, it wasn't soon enough. Thank you. I'm going to sign some books, but